Okay, ready, set, go.
Bam!
So, today's vlog happening a little bit late, but my producer had a pretty good idea to have Lindsay and I film how we still manage to eat healthy even though we have 2 businesses and a full-time job between the 2 of us. So as you can imagine, while we might not have a family, you know, we might not have kids, as some of you might out there, if you just heard Lindsay say yet, hint, hint, right? We do have these 2 kids.
Pressure.
And wherever the other one is.
Hiding.
But it can be extremely hard. So it can be hard for us. We have to make sacrifices. We have to find time to make these meals for the entire week when we don't normally want to. When we want to come home and we want to sit down or we want to watch CrossFit. We have to make sure that we find time. For instance, we went to Cleveland this weekend and got home relatively late and were exhausted last night, so we had some food in the fridge that was left over from last weekend. So we decided to eat that today and do our meal prep on Mondays. Usually it's on a Sunday. Sometimes you just have to make do.
Sometimes you gotta roll with it.
Yep.
Figure it out.
So, here we go. So, typically I do the dishes and Lindsay does the laundry. That's kind of our trade-off. The other stuff we kind of share around the house here. But I'm the dishwasher, she is the launderer.
The laundress.
The laundress. So, typically we share in the meal prepping duties, but because somebody needs to film these shenanigans, I will be filming today, and Lindsay will be handling the actual meal prepping, which she usually just tells me what to do anyways, so here we go. Okay, what are you doing?
So, first I started the mushrooms in the pan, so it goes, to start sauteing them, to prep them for the breakfast week. And then I have the frosted bag of spinach overnight, and then I just put it in the colander with some hot water, because usually it's freezing. And let it really defrost, and then I have to squeeze it out before I prep it in the breakfast bake.
Cool.
I always start, when I meal prep, I always start with the breakfast bake first. Because part of the breakfast bake is to use raw eggs, and that way it saves a pan from your dishes. And I can reuse the raw egg bowl then for the raw egg and turkey mixture for our turkey burgers for lunch.
So I'm squeezing spinach. I'm trying to get all the water out of the spinach so that our breakfast bake is not soupy.
This is all the spinach?
That's it.
Whoa, good job.
Yeah, you said squeeze all the water out of it.
Yeah, because you want to have the least amount of water possible so that all of the spinach doesn't turn soupy in the egg bake, because that is not good. Watery eggs in the morning, not something to get excited about.
No bueno.
That's correct. So then, after you've put it all together nicely, I'm gonna pick it apart, put it in the pans, that way it's nice and evenly distributed. Done! So, now we do 20 eggs.
What is that technique? Just whip it.
This is how I do it every week. It's not broken. Don't fix it, Timmerman.
I mean, it's a little slower.
so lucky that I make this breakfast bake for you every week. So then put a cup of Parmesan cheese and 2 cups of almond milk, preferably, but we use non-dairy, so soy is also fine. Mix it all together. So I pick turkey sausage for us every week because it's, well, healthier than pork sausage, and it's a good source of protein, and it gives us a nice hearty breakfast in the morning. It keeps us fuller longer so we can stay busy at work and productive. Next, you mix in a half a cup of crumbled feta cheese. The turkey sausage is cooking, and then I'm going to put in the peppers. Now I'm going to put the peppers in, then mix the sausage up. I just put these in raw because once it's going to go into the oven for 45 to 50 minutes, depending on what I put in it and how thick it is. And these, I just chop 6 peppers at the beginning of the week, so that way it's all ready for the breakfast bake and ready for our lunches and we cook dinners.
They say the key to balanced meals is to have a lot of color. I see a lot of color. Moment of truth.
Actually, put your cilantro in first.
So how long does this last us usually?
This will last us all week. The key is to get an equal distribution, at least it's important to me, an equal distribution of all the ingredients because I love the perfect bite. So I want equal proportions of everything in all of the portions for the whole week. And now it's ready to go in the oven.
How long do you bake it for?
At 350 for at least 45 minutes. The more stuff or contents you put in the breakfast bake, I notice the longer it has to cook. So the past couple of weeks I've been adding more things in, and it's been probably cooking closer to 50-55 minutes.
Okay.
It's a little liquidy in the middle, but hopefully it will settle in a little bit and reabsorb back into it. And today we ended up cooking it for about probably an hour and 15.
Had more stuff in it, you said, right?
Yeah. So now that we're done with that, we're gonna move on to the turkey burgers, which we use three packages of organic ground turkey. So this is 3 pounds of organic ground turkey. I usually use 2 eggs, however, this week we have 1 left after our breakfast bake, and I don't pick up more eggs from our chicken lady until tomorrow. And so we're gonna get creative and use 1 egg this week.
So we get the eggs from a chicken lady, not the store?
Yes. There's a lady that lives not too far from here that has basically organic chickens on her farm. And so I bring her empty egg cartons every week, and I only pay $2 for organic eggs.
And people think Organic's always more expensive, right?
Yeah, no. The chickens greet me at the door. It's hilarious, and they squawk at me all the time I go there, but it's nice to see where your breakfast actually comes from. So, I pick up more eggs tomorrow. So I put in a couple of tablespoons of almond milk in. I'm gonna add fresh ground black pepper. Garlic powder. Looks like a lot. Remember that there's 3 pounds of turkey. It's not really that much.
I mean, I'm okay with spoonfuls of garlic powder.
It's pretty delicious. And then I just eyeball it, but usually about 1/3 to 1/2 a cup of breadcrumbs. It's a little less because sometimes they get a little too bready. And then I just take a big spoon.
Close call.
Okay. It's all mixed. Just, this is one of those mix it yourself things. Ours is on its deathbed, so it doesn't work as well. But, super handy. And then I just use the olive oil that we like. Spray these so that way the turkey comes out nice and smooth.
And these are for our lunches?
We have these for lunch every day. We used to actually put these into turkey burger patties, but to be honest, after doing 3 pounds every week, it was a bit of a pain, and it would stick to our hands, and it was just annoying. So we got creative and decided to just put it in a meatloaf pan. And actually, you figured that out. Good job.
Credit.
So now it's like slices of like a turkey meatloaf, I guess. And then that way we have enough for all 10 lunches for both of us. And then we also have some left over for dinners, and if we come home, especially me, after I work out and I really want some extra protein. It's an easy go-to thing that's already made. I don't have to worry about cooking, especially since I get home, I work out, I'm tired. The last thing I want to do is think about what I want to cook. And it's also, I find it's a lot easier to eat healthy when I have all of these things already made. And all I have to do is throw it in the microwave or this pot on the stove and cook it up. Then I start chopping and prepping the other things for the week for dinners, snacks that are easy and ready to use. So usually I'll cut up a whole bunch of peppers. This week I have cucumbers and mushrooms. I'm gonna cut all of those up and then prepare my meals in terms of packaging them up and prepping my snacks for the daytime.
And then popcorn.
And then popcorn. And I have to cut my fruit. Sometimes at night I crave my sugar. So if I really have a sugar craving, this week I bought a pineapple and a watermelon, so that if I have a sugar craving, I'm more likely to go for those than ice cream or chocolate. Popcorn and a little bit of wine are my go-tos, but I try to have a little popcorn or little watermelon and pineapple first.
And while she's cutting up her vegetables, the one thing that I do that's different from the stuff Lindsay eats is I add rice into my meals to get my carbs and energy back in after CrossFit workouts. So a lot of the workouts are ridiculously soul crushing and also utilize a ton of energy. So I also have different goals than Lindsay. So my goal is to maintain and build as much muscle mass as I can, not for aesthetic purposes, but so that I can support the crazy workouts that my CrossFit coach and programming put me through. So I have a rice cooker, makes it super easy. All I do is got this big bag of rice. This huge, like 10-pound bag of rice. We can get at Wegmans. Shout out to Wegmans. I do 4 cups of rice. And then it's got these little measurement tabs that you just put in. Basically, once you put 4 cups of rice in there, you just fill it up to the number 4, 6, 8, 10. So I'm going to fill it up to 4 with water, and then you shut it, set it, forget it, good to go. So I had my post-workout shake after CrossFit, but I'm getting a little hungry and need to make sure that I am plenty carved up this week because we have Murph coming up Saturday, and I signed up for the competitors heat, which means I'm going with all the best CrossFitters in the area. Which means I have my workout out for me. Alright, there it is. Smorgasbord.
So, after our maybe 3, sometimes 4 depending, but today it was like 3 hours of prep time. It's a lot of work, but it saves us a lot of work all week. And the easiest thing for us so that we can still eat healthy all week long is to get it all cooked and prepped out of the way today. And it saves us time during the week.
So that's a wrap. Like Lindsay said, 3 to 4 hours of cooking on one day, which seems like a ton, but when you think about planning and prepping all of those foods each and every night, one, most people won't do it, and so we'll often just snack, or we'll go get fast food, or we'll try to find other answers just when we get really hungry. So instead, we've put in the time, the 3 hours tonight, to prep all the meals. And now, Lindsay, how many meals do you eat a day? Like probably 4 or 5?
Yeah, smaller meals. It's easier to eat healthy if everything's all prepped and cooked. Then it's there, and when you're starving and you want to grab something, you can just grab something healthy, and it makes it easier. And I must say that the 3 hours includes all the prep, the making, the cooking, and the cleanup. So that to me is always, I hate cleaning up after. It's always such a mess, but it feels good that everything's done and cleaned up and put away, and now we get to relax.
So it's probably actually like an hour and a half, 2 hours of actual cooking.
Yeah.
And then the rest was cleaning. So, it's really not that long when you think about it. And now we're set for meals for the rest of the week. The only thing we'll have to cook is, like a later dinner or a later snack if we really want it. But I eat about the same amount of times a day, probably 3 to 4 times a day in terms of bigger meals, and then 1 to 2 snacks, including a post-workout shake. So we're all set.
Ready to go.
So if you're interested in the recipes of the breakfast bake or the turkey meatloaf, they're relatively easy to make. We're gonna link them up to this video. Check it out, and hope you enjoy.
We'll also post other snacks that we have. That way you can see, like, we didn't necessarily cook some of the things, but John has one of his snacks every day is yogurt and granola and some fruit. So those are always easy things to kind of pull together too. That's it.
Cool.
Have a great week.